Hey guys, welcome to an all-new special episode of the Chuckload of Comics show. Welcome, all of you new subscribers.
Yay!
If you guys were on the show last weekend, we did a very special Ace Comic-Con mystery guest reveal.
So cool.
We had like 250 people watching our live stream, so with that, we got like 70 new subscribers.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for joining the Chuckload of Comics family. If this is your first time watching a proper Chuckload of Comics, what we do basically, we break down the weekly nerd in review, all the geeky stuff that happened in the past 7 days. We break it down for you, plus comic book reviews, movie talk, everything happening in the world of fandom every single Sunday. You guys are in for a treat this week.
That's right.
We got a lot of very interesting things we're going to talk about. The new Joker movie.
Oh my gosh.
Premiered at the Toronto Film Festival. We got our first critics reviews, the critics tweets. We're going to read them for you.
So excited about this.
Lots. We got about 5 tweets, and they are very, very interesting.
Yeah,
so,
I know.
very across the board. People love it. People are afraid of it.
They're disturbed.
Stick around. We're going to read those tweets for you. And also, some new movie reboots in the works, guys. Face Off and Tank Girl.
What?
Being rebooted over at Paramount Pictures. We're going to kind of talk about what we think of this. Maybe some possible fan casting.
That's the fun part.
That's going to be a lot of fun. This is going to be a very comment-heavy thing, so leave your comments on who you think should cast for Face Off and Tank Girl. But before we get into that stuff, last week we promised you that we are going to kick off a ticket giveaway.
That's right, and we don't break our promises, people.
That's right. Ace Comic-Con is coming to the Donald E. Stevens Convention Center here in Chicago, October 11th through the 13th.
Yes!
Every single weekend from now till Ace, we're doing a ticket giveaway. We're giving away a pair of tickets.
3-day passes,
A pair
people.
of 3-day passes. All you got to do is listen for the word of the day and send it to us. We'll get into the details in just a second, but step one...
Most important step.
This contest is only open to Chuckload of Comics subscribers.
That's right.
So step number 1, click that subscribe button. You'll be glad you did because it's a fun
Yeah,
show anyway.
exactly.
So step number 2, we're doing the classic word of the day, the classic television style, the only way
Straight
they've
out
been
of the
giving away
90s.
tickets on television since the 90s. The classic word of the day. This week's word of the day is in honor of the very first guest announced at Ace Comic-Con.
That's right.
That guest was, of course, Brie Larson. So today's word of the day is Larson.
Larson!
God, I'm creative. So take the word Larson, send us an email, send it to chuckloadofcomics@gmail.com.
That's
Tell
right.
us the word Larson, tell us a little bit about yourself. Maybe, your contact info, at least your name, so we know who to give them to. And so every single week, we are going to pick a winner. I know what you're thinking. My odds of winning are really, really low, but I got a surprise for you. A little secret. Nobody watches this show, so you might only be one of 3 people entering the contest.
Great odds here, people.
So you got way better odds than you think. So Larson's the word. Send it to chuckloadofcomics@gmail.com.
And get that email in before 5 p.m. on Wednesday.
Wednesday.
That's our cutoff.
This
so.
Wednesday is the cutoff. We're going to
Yep.
announce the winner on next weekend's show.
And give away another pair of tickets.
Every
so.
single Sunday from now till Ace, we're doing a whole nother round of giveaways. So win 2 3-day passes to Ace. Larson, send it to chuckloadofcomics@gmail.com. Did I explain it enough?
Simple as that, people. It's
All
so
right.
easy.
Well, moving on, guys. This is a comic book show, so let's just take a second and take a quick look at some of the books hitting shelves at a comic book store near you this week. Take a look. Well, some awesome books hitting shelves this week. Shauna, what has got your eye
So many
this
good
week?
books
Some
this
really good
week,
ones.
but I'll tell you what I'm loving is Strayed. Like, this is just such a great concept. It's about this scientist, this military scientist, who comes up with a way to communicate with her cat. Like, she creates this thing that
Mm-hmm.
turns brainwaves into decipherable language. So, anyway, it's just such a good, fun book. It's so cool.
And it's got kitty cats in
And
it.
it's got kitty cats in it.
Who doesn't love comic books with kitty cats in it? Well, I had a really
No,
tough
I
call.
don't.
Tough decision to make this week. But one thing I noticed is the new Napoleon Dynamite.
That's going to be great.
From IDW Publishing. Napoleon Dynamite, issue number 1 comes out this week. I don't know what this book's going to be about.
Right?
but it definitely caught my eye. Another one, Archie vs. Predator 2.
Oh, man. So
This
is this Predator 2, or is it just Archie vs. Predator 2?
This book actually came out a couple weeks ago. So this is issue number 2 of Archie vs. Predator 2, because Archie vs. Predator came out a couple years ago. Awesome comic book. You can check out Archie vs. Predator. You really should. It's really hilarious. So this is the second telling of the Riverdale gang with the Predator. So check out those books, guys. If you have any books that you're excited about that we didn't mention or show on the show, leave us a comment. Let us know what you're stoked about reading this week. So let's go ahead and move on. We got a couple of great nerd news stories to get into this week. So without further ado, let's go ahead and break down this week's nerd news. All right, guys, so our first nerd news story of the week, Joaquin Phoenix's new Joker movie has premiered to critics, and critics are really starting to dig it.
I'm so excited for this movie. I can't wait.
Yeah, it first premiered at the Venice Film Festival about 2 weeks ago, and to the surprise and the shock of the fandom community everywhere, it won.
It won.
Joker won the Venice Film Festival. It won the coveted Golden Lion. This is very interesting because very rarely, this is an international film community, very rarely do they give it to a Hollywood film.
Or a comic book.
Especially a comic book movie.
Right?
And 9 times out of 10, if it wins the Venice Film Festival, it'll at least get nominated for Best Picture.
That's crazy. I mean, do we really have the potential to have Joker, the role, win another Oscar?
Another
That's crazy.
Oscar. Yeah, I know. And this one could be Best Picture. I think it's almost guaranteed at least a nomination now with the 9 nominations they give out for Best Picture.
Right.
So after it ran at Venice, it ran at Toronto. The Toronto International Film Festival, critics could go see it. And critics have started to give us their first reviews, their first Twitter reactions. We're going to read some of them for you. They're completely non-spoiler.
Right.
So don't freak out. These are not spoiler reviews. They're just kind of people's general thoughts, their first thoughts as they left the theater. The first one comes from Perry Nemiroff of Collider.com. She wrote, Joker is one of the most unnerving movies I've seen in years. Joaquin Phoenix is astounding. The physicality of his work is especially impressive. It's very well made across the board, but I also found it very upsetting. And right now, I can't shake that. Need to sit with this movie.
Wow.
Seems like it really freaked Perry Nemiroff out, man.
Right?
Seems like it really messed with her head.
Sounds disturbing.
But she did say that Joaquin Phoenix, the physicality of his role, was dynamite. And you can kind of see that in the trailer.
Yeah,
I mean, he lost a lot of
absolutely.
weight for this. He does some really fun, funky dancing in this.
Yeah.
So clearly it's going to be Joaquin Phoenix's most physical role in quite a while.
Awesome.
So this next one, the next little Twitter review comes from Peter Howell, who writes, Joker, wow. Joaquin Phoenix and Todd Phillips summoned Dark Mojo for a descent into madness for the origin story to beat all origin stories. Forget comic books. This is disturbingly too close to modern alienation to be dismissed as mere fantasy.
Wow.
That's really interesting. So he's like saying
That's
it puts the current state of our world under a microscope.
That's interesting.
He said it doesn't feel like fantasy, it feels like reality.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait for this movie.
I'm getting a little freaked out just reading these Twitter reviews.
Right?
This next one, I really like this one. This is from Scott Mantz. Can I just say I love Scott Mantz? He's the coolest guy. He's on Collider also from time to time. I think every now and again you'll see him on Fridays on Collider. Scott Mantz, you rule. Well, this is what Scott Mantz wrote about Joker. He wrote, Joker, not your daddy's Joker movie. Riveting and engrossing, unnerving and disturbing, intense and very violent. A cross between Taxi Driver, King of Comedy, and Network, Joaquin Phoenix is haunting, very different from Jack and Heath. Need to stew on this one.
Wow,
So just like Perry Nemiroff, man, I think this really screwed up Mr. Nance.
Right? It sounds like you have to see this movie more than once.
I know. I like where he said he talks about it. It's disturbing, intense, and very violent.
That's crazy.
Very violent. Well, we all knew it had an R rating.
Yeah.
So it sounds like it's really going to earn that R rating.
Oh my gosh.
Man, this is going to be nuts.
I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked. Well, we got one more Twitter reaction we're going to read for you guys. We want to leave you in the leave us a comment. Let us know what you think about the Joker and some of these comments. This last one comes from Cinema Blend, the powerhouse Cinema Blend. They wrote, Joker, the perfect origin story for a lunatic with no origin. Todd Phillips gives DC its first true masterpiece. The Clown Prince has never been more deranged, more dangerous, and more real. A brutal work that will have audiences raving.
That is crazy, man. I mean, people thought that Heath Ledger,
Was
could never
dark.
be topped, and it
Exactly.
was super dark. I can't wait to see what Joaquin does with this.
Everybody says this is just going to be a deeply, emotionally gut-wrenching kind of film.
Oh my gosh.
That's got me incredibly excited.
I know.
So guys, let us know what you think in the comment section. How excited are you for Joker? Does these Twitter reactions change your opinion at all? Are you more excited? Are you less excited? Let us know what you think in the comment section. Shauna,
Yeah.
Speaking of awesome movies, like we said earlier in the show, guys, this was a really big week for movie announcements. They announced that they are going to be rebooting two of the most classic 1990s films, two what I think underrated films, Face Off and Tank Girl.
Unbelievable.
Face Off and Tank Girl getting rebooted, I think, over at Paramount. First one I want to talk about. The movie Face Off. The John Woo 1997 film Face Off. You know it. It stars, what's his name?
Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage and John Travolta. There was a big face offing and awning. If you haven't seen it, I'm going to spare you the details because I don't want to spoil it for you.
Right.
But they announced they're going to be rebooting this film.
Why?
Note to all you kids out there, if you're watching the show, there was something very special about action movies back in the 90s.
That's true.
Like the 90s had a special breed of action movie that is yet to be duplicated in movies ever since. I mean, movies like Broken Arrow, The Rock,
Speed,
Point Break, frickin' Demolition Man,
right?
And the crown jewel of these action movies was Face Off, without a doubt.
I cannot agree. I can't agree with you on that.
You can't agree with me on that?
No.
Well, I want to go ahead and do a little fan casting and fan theorizing. Before we do, Shawnee, you've pretty much shown your cards. What did you think about Face Off when it came out back in 1997?
I thought it was a terrible movie. I think it's a fun concept, but it's crazy. But with different casting, and I think they're gonna maybe rework the script a little bit more. Maybe. I don't know. I'll go see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty stoked about it. So let me ask you.
Yeah.
Let's do a little fan theorizing.
Oh,
here.
I already have my
all right.
my cast in mind.
What do you think? What's your cast look like for the recasting of Face Off?
I will go see this movie if Walton Goggins
Ooh.
and Sam Rockwell are
I like that.
the main characters.
I don't hate that. That's pretty damn good.
I would love that. I would love that.
Now, who's going to play Castor Troy and who's going to play
that's
the
a tough
cop?
one. Either of them could
they're both
play-
kinda crazy.
Yeah, I know. Either of them could play either role. I couldn't pick.
Yeah, I got to say Goggins probably is the cop.
Yeah.
Rockwell is the deranged
Okay.
serial killer.
Yeah. That would work.
But it doesn't really matter because they flip.
I know.
And they're practically the same character anyway. Well, I'm going to start really high. If this movie has a $190 million budget,
That's a pretty big budget.
I would love to see Johnny Depp.
Okay.
Johnny Depp is probably the Nicolas Cage character.
Okay.
And I don't know who'd go well with Johnny Depp. DiCaprio. Johnny
Ooh.
Depp and DiCaprio.
Now you're
If
talking.
this has a $200 million budget, I think that would absolutely crush.
That's pretty good.
If we're lowering the budget a little bit, I'm going to go with The Rock
Okay.
and Vin Diesel.
Oh, that's a good one. I
think
like that too.
that
would be
could
fun.
work.
Yeah, it could. Oh man, I like that one. I'd go
The
see
Rock
I'd
and
go
Vin
see
Diesel?
those movies. As much as I dislike the original Face Off, I would see these.
I got another one for you.
What's that?
Let's cast it all women.
Oh God.
What if we did it? There's nothing saying you can't do a woman face off.
I know. I agree. I didn't even think about that.
It's a very action-heavy film. What about Ronda Rousey?
Okay. Ooh.
And what do you got?
Gina Carano.
That was exactly what I was about to say. Gina Carano and Ronda Rousey in Face Off?
That would be great.
All day, man.
Oh man. Okay. Now I'm excited about
Yeah.
this.
Well, we could talk about Face Off all day long, but we have to talk about the other big movie that's getting rebooted, Tank Girl.
This one I'm excited about too. Tank Girl was great.
If you haven't watched Tank Girl in a while, you owe it to yourself to get off your butt and go watch Tank Girl. The movie came out in 1995, stars Lori Petty, one of the most underrated films
Absolutely.
in recent memory. And more importantly, read the comic.
Yeah.
The comic for Tank Girl
It's
is
great.
awesome. It is a gem of a comic book. It's funny. It's very kind of post-apocalyptic. It's really cool. Lots of interesting cast characters in the comic. So go to your local comic book shop, pick up a copy of Tank Girl. So let me give you a little details on what's going on here. Margot Robbie's production company, they purchased they optioned the rights to Tank Girl. So they basically bought the rights to Tank Girl. Never said if Margot Robbie's going to be in Tank Girl. I hope she isn't.
Oh,
I'm actually hoping she doesn't, but we'll get into our casting in a little bit. They're still very much like in pre-production. They haven't even written a script yet. They basically just got the rights to the film.
Right.
Very underrated movie, guys. If you haven't watched it since 1995, you owe a rewatch.
Definitely.
The movie's a ton of fun. I'm not going to say it's a great movie, but it's certainly
fun.
a fun movie.
And Laura Petty kills it. Like it's hard to think of another person to play Tank Girl.
I know.
So I don't know. It's
Well, let's think of another person to play Tank Girl.
Well, so
I'll let you kick it off
before I
first.
even knew that Margot Robbie's production company purchased the rights, I instantly thought Margot Robbie. I
Really?
think she'd be perfect for Tank Girl. She's got that funny, witty.
She
She's
does.
cute. She's like shaved head Margot Robbie. I think she'd be a great Tank Girl.
Here's my only problem with that, is that Tank Girl is a character very akin to Harley Quinn.
Yeah,
I feel
know.
like we've almost kind of already seen that character with Margot Robbie.
That's true.
Now, if Harley Quinn was off the table, she would absolutely crush Tank Girl.
Yeah.
But I got one.
Who's that?
Kristen Stewart.
Oh.
If you saw the new trailer for the new Charlie's Angels,
Uh-huh.
Kristen Stewart's in it. She plays the total badass with like the
Yeah.
short blonde hair.
Yep.
She is just the right age.
That's a
She's
good
just
point.
the right amount of attitude.
That's a very good point. I like that.
I think Kristen
Yeah.
Stewart would absolutely crush it.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah. I
Also,
like that one a
maybe
lot, too.
Brie Larson, too. Brie Larson could do a good job.
Brie Larson. Brie Larson. Who's Brie? Oh, Brie Larson.
Jeez. Cut. He forgot who Brie Larson was.
Sorry. Sorry, Ace Comic-Con. I totally forgot who Brie
She's
Larson was. I was
our
like,
word of the day, Chuck.
oh, yeah. Just a reminder, word of the day is Larson. No, what about your favorite person in the news right now?
My favorite person in the news.
Yeah, on the People magazine.
Oh, sorry. I just
Selma
Blair.
Selma
Blair would
Blair.
be good.
She's a little bit older than Kristen
Yeah.
Stewart, but I think she could do it.
Selma
A
Blair
nice,
would rock.
nice triumphant return to the ring with Selma Blair playing Tank
That
Girl.
would be awesome.
I could totally see that.
I could too. And now she's got the shaved head. She looks great.
I know. I can see it. I can totally see it.
That's great.
So anyway, Tank Girl and Face Off. Who's excited?
Oh my god.
Shauna's not, but I think I am.
I'm excited now that we talked about the casting. It could be fun.
Yeah.
I just hope they get it right because that's the only way I'm going to see this movie is if it's got a good cast.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Still pretty excited about it.
But leave us your comments. Who do you think?
Yeah, let
will
us
play?
know.
Yeah.
I'm out of brain energy right now because I was just trying to think of fan casting for Tank Girl and Face Off.
I know.
So, guys, that's kind of our whole show this week. I know it was kind of a goofy one. Thanks a lot for watching Chuckload of Comics. We're here every single Sunday. If you like the show, click that subscribe button. Join us here for all the fandom fun every single Sunday right here on YouTube.
That's right.
So, until next week, guys, have a fantastic week. Remember to enter that contest, and good luck. We'll see you here next week.